Stellantis has undoubtedly had a bit of a rough start ever since FCA and PSA merged. As a result, many of its rivals such as GM, Ford, and especially the Japanese had managed to catch up to it and even overtake it in almost every segment possible. However, that period of delirium for Stellantis is gone, and now Carlos Tavares, Stellantis CEO, has promised us a thorough restructuring of their model lineup. So, let's not waste any time and check out what they prepared for us as Stellantis CEO announces 5 new models for 2025 and wows everybody. Number 5. Jeep Kamanchi. Stellantis has recognized the potential that compact pickup trucks harness. After all, the Ford Maverick, which has been on the market for less than 4 years, has proved to be one of Ford's most lucrative ventures of the past 15 years, and it keeps gaining traction with each passing day. As a result, Stellantis officials have decided to tackle this rise in popularity too. And with the release of the long-anticipated Jeep Kamanchi, they'll do just that. However, unlike Ford, they'll do it in a bit of a different manner. You see, unlike the Maverick, which is a compact pickup truck, Jeep has decided to create an even smaller truck, allowing them to lower the entry price even more. One of the reasons why Stellantis is doing this is because of its presence in the European market, which has shown quite a lot of interest in a small pickup truck. This way, Stellantis can hit 2 birds with 1 stone and manage to beat out its American rivals both on US soil as well as on the old continent too. The upcoming Jeep Kamanchi will share its platform with the Jeep Avenger that was introduced last year, meaning that it'll essentially be a subcompact pickup truck. However, don't let that discourage you, as it'll be a very capable pickup truck nonetheless. First of all, its bed is expected to be bigger than the much larger Hyundai Santa Cruz, but a tad smaller than that of the Ford Maverick. In addition, the truck will be offered as a crew cab, which means that you'll have usable back seats. Sure, they won't be as roomy as the ones found in the Maverick, however, you'll still be able to carry 2 kids without a problem, and adults will have enough space too, albeit they won't be that comfortable. When it comes down to the powertrains, the Kamanchi will, as standard, come with a 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder, pushing out 130 horsepower. You'll also have the option of a mild hybrid as well as a more powerful 1.6 Turbo 4 engine, which will push out around 200 horsepower. Finally, the same 1.6-liter 4-cylinder will be offered as a plug-in hybrid, pushing around 230 horsepower. When it comes down to the price, the Kamanchi is expected to start at around $20,000, possibly even a bit less, making it quite a bit more affordable than the Ford Maverick. However, if you're still skeptical about the fact that it's a subcompact pickup truck, rest assured, Stellantis will also offer an actual Maverick competitor. Number 4. Rampage. If you've been following world news about cars, you might know that the Rampage isn't an all-new model. In fact, it has been on sale since 2023 in Brazil, where it is, as of now, exclusively produced. However, as of 2025, Stellantis will also be expanding the production of the Rampage, as this vehicle is a direct rival to the Maverick. Compared to the Maverick, you should expect a much better cabin in terms of both quality and ergonomics. Furthermore, the pickup truck will also be noticeably more comfortable than the Maverick, courtesy of its softer suspension as well as its better seats. Not to mention that its tall ride height and solid ground clearance will make it capable off-road despite its unibody construction. When it comes down to the powertrains, the Rampage will be offered with Stellantis 2.0 Hurricane 4 engine as well as a mild hybrid powertrain, but we don't know what engine its beating heart will be. There is a possibility of a plug-in hybrid too, however, Stellantis is yet to confirm this. Additionally, the Rampage will also be a more practical vehicle than the Maverick, as it has a bit of a larger bed as well as somewhat roomier rear seats. However, before they start making them here, Stellantis will have to first modernize it, as the recent Maverick redesign will jeopardize its technological prowess if the Rampage remains the way it is. When it comes down to the pricing, the Rampage will be a tad more expensive than the Maverick. It is expected to sit somewhere between the Blue Oval's pickup truck and the Hyundai Santa Cruz, which isn't half bad. So essentially, you'll have a choice between a bit more compromising but more affordable pickup or a more capable but also costly alternative to the Maverick. All in all, we think that this is a pretty good move by Stellantis. Number 3. V8-powered Dodge Charger. When the all-new Dodge Charger hit the market, most of us were left in utter and complete disappointment. Offering an all-electric quote-unquote muscle car is undoubtedly highly blasphemous. However, making a gasoline-powered version and not fitting it with a V8 was also straight-up heresy. As a result, the new Charger has become quite the laughingstock amongst the car community, and with it, so did Stellantis. Thankfully, making fun of Stellantis' stupid decision has done us good, as of 2025, we'll be getting a V8 version too. Now, the 6-cylinder will remain its main power plant, pushing out either 420 horsepower or 540 horsepower. However, the high-performance version, which will be the spiritual successors of the Hellcat and the Demon, will all come with a derivative of the same Hemi V8 used in those vehicles. The first charger in the lineup that'll receive this engine will be the SRT8. However, don't confuse it with old SRT8s. This will be a far less common vehicle, and it'll also make more horsepower than either the Challenger or the old Charger SRT8, with around 600 horsepower being available at all times. Further down the line, we could expect the Hellcat variation with 700 plus horsepower, and eventually, if they sell well, we could also expect the Demon's Resurrection too. That said, let's not get too enthusiastic, as the SRT8 will first have to prove if the market for V8 muscle cars still exists. But if we take the new Mustang as reference, the interest in a V8 sports car is most certainly alive. Number 2. Dodge Viper. Another legend is about to be resurrected. The Dodge Viper, after nearly 10 years of retirement, will be back, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. However, this resurrection won't bring back the same vehicle that we're used to. The Viper will, like the previous model, be a high-performance sports car. However, it'll now share its DNA with a certain Italian sports car. The new Viper will be built upon the same platform as the new Maserati Gran Turismo. Now, some of you might hate the idea of an American car that is based on a European luxury car. However, we'd argue that any Viper is still better than no Viper at all. Or even worse, an electrified crossover Viper. Ugh. Gosh, that is a horrible thought. Anyhow, you shouldn't be too worried. The engine of the Viper will remain as American as ever. It'll share its power plant with a new V8 Charger, however, it'll push out more horsepower than it. And while this isn't as majestic as having a V10, it's still better than nothing. That said, the base model will most likely utilize the Hurricane 6 engine too. However, we're not completely certain of this. Also, the price tag won't be as ludicrous as that of the Maserati. Instead of $250,000, you could expect the Viper to cost around half of that, positioning it perfectly next to the Porsche 911 and other high-end sports cars. Number 1. Jeep Wrangler. Let's be honest here, the current generation of the Jeep Wrangler has aged rapidly, and it has aged very poorly. This was only amplified with the release of the Ford Bronco, which is just a better vehicle than it in every possible sense. Not even the recent redesign of the Wrangler could save it, as it still lags behind its competition by a huge margin. As a result, Stellantis has decided to offer us an all-new generation of the Wrangler. This new vehicle will most likely be based on the same platform as the current generation. However, major revisions are expected. The vehicle will be more rigid, offering a much better driving experience, and its suspension will also allow for a more comfortable on-road driving experience. That said, it won't be any less impressive off-road either, as Jeep will do its best to make it not just competitive with the Bronco, but also much better than it. Some say that it'll come with air suspension on higher trim levels. However, this is yet to be confirmed by Stellantis. Finally, the engine choice will vary between a 2.0 Hurricane 4 and the aforementioned 3.0 Hurricane 6. The Hemi V8 will not be making a return, and while we're sad to hear this, we have to say that it makes sense that Stellantis would drop it for this kind of vehicle. The V8 was too heavy and wasn't all that powerful to compensate for all that weight. The Hurricane 6 makes much more sense in this regard, as with its added torque and power over the V8, it'll prove to be the perfect off-road powertrain. After the Wrangler, Jeep will also redesign the Jeep Gladiator, however, that'll happen at least a year after the Wrangler's redesign. Thanks for watching and see you next time.